In this segment, you will learn how to set your share settings so that your embedded elements will be viewable on your Google site. In the last segment, you learned how to use the Insert menu to insert text boxes, images, embed code, and files from Google Drive. Now we're going to look at how to set the sharing permissions on each file to ensure that your audience can view your files. It's important to remember that your website has sharing permissions. However you have your website set for sharing allows people to access your website, but those settings do not apply to the files that you embed in your website. Each file that you embed in your website must also be shared. So in this PDF, I can click on this Open in New Tab button, and once it opens, I can click the More Actions menu and choose Share. Then decide how I want to share this particular file. Given that we're sharing it on a website, in most cases, we're going to want to make sure that everybody can access the file. If that's what I want, I would want to make sure it does not say restricted for this link. And I want to make sure that either Baltimore City Public Schools or anyone with the link can view. Also, generally, I want to leave it set as view because this is a website. But there are cases where I might want to allow people to comment or even edit the file directly on the website. Once this is set as anyone with the link can view, anyone who goes to the website will be able to view this particular PDF file. If I do want to limit the visibility to people who log in with their Baltimore City Schools credentials, I can set that right here and also leave it as view only. But in some cases, again, comment or edit might be appropriate. I can close this tab and return to the website, and now I can go to the next file and check the sharing permissions. On a Google Doc, I would click the Share button and go through the same process. Click on Get Link. This particular file is restricted, so I would want to make it viewable for anyone with a link. With Google Slides files, you go through the same process, but because we embedded it on a website, it launches in present mode. So you will need to click on the gear and go to Open Editor so that you may access the Share button. So I need to do this for each file that I have embedded on my page. Whether it be a Google Apps file, a video file, a PDF, it doesn't matter. They all need to be shared correctly. There may be cases where you want to share the file only with specific people. So in that case, open the file, click Share, and make sure that Get Link is set to Restricted. And then at the top of the sharing menu, make sure you have added the specific people with whom you want to share this particular document. It can be very time-consuming to share each file individually. A time-saving strategy is to create a folder that goes with your website and share that entire folder. Of course, in doing this, you need to be careful to put only files in this folder that match the sharing permissions that you are setting. I'm going to share everything, let's say in this case with Baltimore City Public Schools, so you need to be credentialed to Baltimore City, and everybody is a viewer, and I click Done. So every single file that I create and have in this folder is going to be shared correctly. So when I put them on this website, they will appear correctly when people access the website. The same strategy applies when working in your shared drives, but you cannot share a folder. So what you will have to do is go into the folder and then select all of your files at one time, right-click, click Share, and then set your sharing permissions. With the new Google Sharing menu, you're able to set permissions separately for each file all at one time. Once all of your files are shared correctly, it's a good idea to copy the published site link, of course make sure it's published, and then send it to somebody who is not an editor of the website to check for you to make sure everything looks right and everything works correctly.